All right, our first song is the books of the Old Testament through Lamentations. I might link that here. Then our next is our third article of faith. I'm not going to sing it now, but again, I might link it here. And so let's jump into our first song. Our first song we've been working on, Liken the Scriptures. I have some other activities for that. I may or may not link it there. But today, okay, so I'd say, children, I have some letters, some codes that I need you to figure out up here. And for music leaders, I just wrote these letters on a half sheet of copy paper and then put magnets on the back so I can slide them around easily. So I just put them all over the board. Okay, so I tell the kids, do you see anything? Do you notice anything? We got to figure out what this code is. Hold your thoughts. Let's listen to the song first. Okay. I'll never lead a nation to their promised land, or mightily divide the sea in two. But if I had the faith and courage Moses had, imagine all the great things I could go and do. Do you notice anything? And again, we've been working on this a few weeks, so it's more familiar to them. Do you see anything? And usually I get responses. By now, they're pretty lost. I don't see a lot of figuring out the code. A lot of them, they're like, they try to make words out of this. One of them said, and actually I take their responses. If they say wild ideas that I haven't even thought of and are not even close to correct, I still say, oh, okay, let's figure this out. So, okay, Lily thinks that these are words from the song, but they're scrambled up. Okay, interesting. Okay, that's a hypothesis we can look at. Okay, you think that maybe they're scrambled up words. Oh, Susie thinks that the letters represent each word, like the first letter of each word. Okay, let's look at that. Oh, and Henry, you think this is the word testimony? Testimony. Kind of. You think it's kind of like a Mad Gap thing where like maybe if I say it fast enough that it'll be one of the words to figure out. Okay, we have a lot of different ideas. Okay, let's see where we go. And then I usually sing it again, get more ideas. And we were getting to the point where my primary was kind of having a hard time seeing things. And so at one point I did move the papers around. Some people were getting some ideas like, I think there's something backwards. Like one of the kids said, is something backwards? I'm like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Let's see. But to help the kids at some point, I rearranged the papers a bit to look like this. So at one point, the kids were offering a lot of different ideas, and I'm trying to remember if I hinted that maybe they were out of order or scrambled up. Someone said something like that, like they're out of order. So I said, oh, that's okay, let's kind of look into that. You think that something's out of order? All right, let's take a look. And so they had all these different ideas. We sang it again. I'll never lead a nation to their promised land, or mightily divide the sea in two. But if I had the faith and courage Moses had, imagine all the great things. Imagine all the great things I could go and do. Okay, what do you think? And the more we sang it, the more we looked at it, the more they started getting ideas. I'd see more hands. And frankly, it's usually the older class that starts getting some ideas first. And we had some teachers whispering to the kids like, boy, I could see the teachers trying to figure it out. But then once someone said, I think that the letters represent each word, but I think they're backwards. And I said, oh, interesting. Okay. You think maybe something backwards? And I don't say if it's right or wrong. We just sing the song again. And we'll sing the song again. Okay, what do you think? And then they start to get really excited putting these papers in order. And when they say, oh, I think that one should go first, I say, come on up. Come on up and put the strip where you think it should be. Or if we don't have time to come up, I say, okay, wait, you think this one should go first? Okay. I think we hit a turning point when one of my primary girls pointed to either, I think it was this one or this one. I think it might have been this one. And she said, "That's the first one." The other option, if I'm remembering incorrectly, she said, "Oh, well, this is the last one." It was the first of the last one. And then suddenly the kids understood the code. The answer to the code is that it's the first letter of each word written backwards. And I wouldn't really hint at it. I would just sing it. I wouldn't use my hands. I'll never lead a nation to their promised land. But you can see, okay, they're starting to get it. I'll never lead a nation to their promised land. Which one comes next? And usually the kids are really excited and fired up to get the rest of them in order. We kept singing, we kept moving the strips around, and a little hint, I don't have a picture of it, but instead of switching, when someone said, "Oh, this is the first one," I would just move it over to the board in the first position. So we have these are our final order, and we're moving these over to the final order so the kids could kind of categorize the before and after. So we're moving these over, and then I'll show you what they look like in the final result. When we finished putting the strips in order, they looked like this. And then at this point, we'd say, okay, let's do a final check to see if we got it all right, because it took quite a bit to get them in order. And then here I would point along. Okay, I'll never lead a nation to their promised land, or mightily divide the sea in two. Looking good so far. But if I had the faith and courage Moses had, imagine all the great things I could go and do. Good job, you got it in order, you figured it out. I think we continued singing the chorus, but you could also even just stop there if you're doing a verse with a code kind of like this. One of the reasons I really like this activity for learning a song, maybe after we first introduce it, maybe after a couple weeks, is at least for my older children, it really solidifies what the words are. I'm not going to miss little words or misinterpret certain words because each word is on here with its first letter. So for example, one of the words that always trips me up is I'll never lead a nation to, it's their promised land. So I'm like, oh, I know it's a T. I'll never lead a nation to their promised land. It really helps them focus on getting every single word. And when we're all doing it together as a game, I can really get a lot of involvement with the entire primary singing every single word because we really want to check to make sure we got it right. Okay, can you follow this rhythm? We're going to go sway, sway, swish, swish, clap. Sway, sway, swish, swish, clap. Keep the commandments, keep the commandments. In this there is safety, in this there is peace. He will send blessings, he will send blessings. Words of a prophet, keep the commandments. Okay, freeze, right here. Do you notice I did something different? We're going to clap up high, because then we're going to bring it down, pat, pat, and then fast football feet, okay? So, words of a prophet, keep the commandments up high. In this there is safety and peace. Fast feet, very good. Oh, my primary really likes that last move. Okay, a couple ways that I have leveled up this song. The first thing I did on the first week was when I was doing the pattern, I noticed I was losing some of the kids. They weren't as engaged. So I used some directed listening. I would give them a question. Okay, as we sing this, I want you to listen for, what are we supposed to keep? Keep the commandments. Freeze. Raise your hand if you heard what we're supposed to keep. The commandments. Very good. Okay, Next question. What two things do we find when we obey the commandments of God? Keep the commandments. Keep the commandments. In this there is safety. In this there is peace. Raise your hand if you heard one or two. There's two things, but you can just give one of the things we find when we obey the commandments of God. Safety and peace. Very good. What will God give us and send us when we obey the commandments? He will send blessings. He will send blessings. Raise your hand if you heard. Blessings. Very good. Now this might be how I actually kind of do junior primary. I break it up shorter. And I think when I actually did this in primary, I think I just started from the beginning every time. And so I just stacked and stacked. But just for this video, I'm keeping it a little shorter. I'll just jump into that part. And then the last one, who can we listen to who hears the word of God, speaks for God on earth, and helps us understand the commandments of God? Okay. Words of a prophet, keep the commandments. Raise your hand if you heard. Prophet, very good. Okay. Words of a prophet, keep the commandments. In this there is safety and peace. Fast feet. Very good. Okay, a second way to level up. So I think I did that 1 week. And then another way, especially for older children. I did not do this with the younger children because it was too confusing. But what you do is you turn and you face a different wall every 2 times you go through this song. And I will warn you, the good things and the bad things with doing this. Okay, I tried it 1 week and I stood, so if you're where the primary is, I actually turned around so that way they could follow me exactly. So we all turned together. We're going the same way. I was not mirroring them. They got kind of lost when they couldn't see me. So on one time I tried like running to the back and then running to the side to keep them moving with the dance, but it was kind of a mess. So the next week I said, okay, let's try to get this straight. We went through it once. I asked for 3 volunteers who thinks they know the dance really, really well. And so I say, okay, come on up. We did the dance together. And then I put each of them on one wall. And so I said, okay, when we're gonna turn, you're gonna look at Stacy. And then when we go to the back, you're gonna look at Lily. And then when you're gonna go this way, you're gonna look at Ava. And so they knew who to look at. It was still kind of a mess, to be honest, but it was pretty fun and just a way to repeat it. So let me show you. You kind of have to turn on the first one already. Let's see if I can figure this out. Okay, so it would be, we turn this way. Keep the commandments, keep the commandments. In this there is safety, in this there is peace. He will send blessings, he will send blessings. Words of a prophet, keep the commandments. See, because we're all facing the front of the room. Okay, so you're still facing this way. But I'm going to turn around so you can see me. In this there is safety and peace. So if you notice that, you have to follow that pattern in order to get back to your starting position. And because our bishop came in to talk to the children, we actually did not have time for my 3rd song, which was Build an Ark, because I had kind of a whole thing planned. So if you want to see that, please wait for my next video. And if I get it out, I may or may not link it here. We'll see.